PitchCon. This is ridiculous. I cannot believe that we're doing this. So this is actually happening right now. But yeah, PitchCon, it's here. I could not be more excited for this day, and I'm thrilled. I'm just absolutely thrilled to have so many incredible people involved, contributing to this event, the generosity of everybody, and of course, everybody already watching and promoting on Twitter and on social media. It's just been incredible. So I'm excited. I'm pumped for this, for PitchCon, everything like that. And what I want to do really quickly, I just want to go over the event, talk about what is going to transpire over the next 4 days, and just to get everybody on the same page as we go through 40 hours of talking about baseball with some incredible minds and smart people from all across the industry. So first of all, thanks for being here. This is incredible. So let's talk about what is PitchCon. So PitchCon is a 4-day online baseball conference hosted by PitcherList in an effort to raise money for charity, as 50% of all our contributions will go directly to feeding America. So head to go.rallyup.com/PitcherList. You can also find it on PitcherList right now. It's a major article right there. It'll give you all the information you need. Just go to go.rallyup.com/PitcherList to contribute, find out more about Feeding America, and get all the details about PitchCon. So your contribution does more than just support a fantastic cause. We also have dozens of prizes that we're giving away during the event. So these range from a Jacob DeGrom signed baseball, PitcherList merch like this or this over here. Yeah, we have a PitcherList hat now. Pretty awesome. Subscriptions to many industry sites, RotoWire, Baseball HQ, Razzball, Prospects 365, experts drafting your fantasy teams with you, consultations, and obviously much, much more. So sign up for these prizes. It's absolutely free, and a link can be found at go.rallyup.com/PitcherList. It's a Google form. You just got to fill it out. You select what prizes you want to be eligible for. And with every contribution, we get closer to unlocking every prize we have to offer. So as we raise money and hit milestones, we'll unlock new prizes that are awarded a winner. So for example, at $8,500, we get draft a team with Derek Van Riper. So we have to hit that. And if we hit $8,500, then we unlock everything from $8,500 and lower. So we have them up to $10,000 right now. That is our goal. We really hope that we can hit that. However, we also have these really amazing stretch goals as well that we want to be able to give away. So hopefully we can hit those on top of that. But all drawings of winners will happen on Sunday during the closing ceremonies, 9 o'clock. So make sure that you sign up in time at 9 o'clock on Sunday at go.rallyup.com/PitcherList. I'm so excited about this. So yeah, keep doing that. Remember, of course, only one time per person for those prizes. So before I continue, I need to give a huge thanks to the incredible fantasy baseball community for helping put this on. I mean, it's incredible. I came up with this idea about a month ago, and I didn't know, what kind of scope we could have. And so I reached out to pretty much, all the people that I've met in person, and they're incredible. I mean, I cannot emphasize enough just how nice and generous they are. I mean, pretty much everyone that I asked said yes. And if they couldn't, it was because they had, they were incredibly busy on these days, or it was just they will be there for the next time. So really huge thanks to this incredible lineup that we have. I mean, we have over 65 experts. We have people ranging from Jason Benetti, the announcer for the Chicago White Sox, joining me tomorrow. We have, of course, John Boy Media and Pitching Ninja, Saris. Every single industry website is here. It's crazy to me. I can't wait just as a fan. And yes, finally, I'm going to play Spore in the show and get demolished. But, that's going to happen. We're going to do that, I believe, on Saturday night. It's going to go past the 10 o'clock window. So, yeah, so I cannot wait for that. You can watch right now as you are on Periscope and on Twitch and on the go.rallyup.com/PitcherList page. But also keep in mind, if you're watching on Twitter, as we go into 5 o'clock, we're going to have a new tweet to look at, a new stream there. So it's going to end the first half there on Twitter, going to shift over at 5 o'clock to a new tweet. It's going to be fine for Twitch. You're just going to see a quick blip, nothing at all, and just keep watching the same stream you're watching right now. But yeah, that is this weekend. I can't wait. I'll be back here at 1 o'clock to present. But until then, we have the PitcherList staff. We have 6 managers at PitcherList. We're going to be doing a fantastic roundtable with them. So, of course, you can view the entire schedule, all the prizes at go.rallyup.com/pitcherlist. You can see it on Pitcherlist as well. So please consider supporting the cause if you can. We'll be live streaming all day completely free. We'll be doing it on Friday and on Saturday and on Sunday, 10 hours every single day. So please contribute if you can. Everything will help. And remember, 50% of everything that we raise is going to Feeding America. So, all right. So thanks, everyone, for joining me now, for being a part of this. And I look forward to a fantastic weekend. I can't wait. I'm so giddy with excitement right now. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to bring on these Pitchlist managers. They're going to have a fantastic roundtable, and we're going to kick it off. So let's have a fun weekend, and let's talk about baseball.
Hey, guys.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome to PitchCon. So,
dude, this is sick.
Exciting. I'm so pumped. So thanks for coming out to come see us put this on, folks. And thanks everyone for participating that's come out. Folk is going to be speaking or talking about different things throughout the weekend. So we're going to have ourselves a little roundtable, kind of get things kicked off here. First, we'll go around the room and kind of introduce everybody, starting on my left. I've got Dave Cherman. Dave, why don't you kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here?
Sure. So I'm Dave Cherman. I'm the Across the Seams manager. So that's a lot of our just like general baseball or op-ed content that you should definitely take a look at. We've got some great staff doing that. I am a lawyer living in Denver, just like Daniel, not a lawyer. And I co-host On the Barrel with John Metzelaar. And I'm just so excited that after weeks of preparation, we get to bring you guys PitchCon today.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Thanks, Dave. And Colin, why don't you go next first?
I'm Colin. I'm one of the managers of the data science crew, along with David Fanko. Thanks, Alex. Best shirt, apparently. So what we do is we do a lot of stuff in the background to help support our writers and podcasting crews to work up some data and get stuff for them to present. I live in Winnipeg, and I'm a biologist here, and I use my spare time just working on baseball and talking to these guys.
Fantastic. Awesome. And then we'll just keep moving right on down. Myles, why don't you go next for us?
What's up, guys? Shout out Fast for the best wallpaper comment. Took me a whole day to put this thing up. It was great. But so I'm Myles Nelson, the We Love Baseball manager. So that's basically everything that's about why baseball's fun and why we love it. We've done things from, baseball video game tournaments to why I love, content, just basically everything that is why we're all here today, because we all love baseball. I work in sales. I live in Southern California, which is obviously the best place to live, and obviously root for the best team. So, I'm just really happy to be here and be with all these great guys, because this is, in all seriousness, I spend like 90% of my waking time on the Pitcher List Discord just talking to everyone. So really stoked to be here.
Awesome. Thank you, Myles. On to next, Scott Chu, our other resident ginger.
Yo. I'm Scott Chu. I'm the manager of the Going Deep section. That's a section where we let people take deep dives into really anything related to fantasy baseball. I mean, recently we had an article come out where Dan Richards invented a stat that he felt and tried to prove was stickier than things like FIP. So we've got that. We've got deep dives on players. We've got deep dives on league-wide trends. We've had deep dives on injuries. We really we have the opportunity, thanks to Pitcher List and Nick. We just kind of get to dive into whatever we want, and I try to, keep that stuff going. I also write the batter's box during the regular season, a couple days a week, where just a bunch of quick recaps of what hitters did well the day before. Really one of my personal favorite things to write. And can't sit here and not talk about the fact that I also do fantasy curling. So I'm not going to go into that. I could talk about that for hours, but that's also another thing I do. So
is Curling Con coming up?
No, so curling also had to stop due to the pandemic, which is how it was bad. When Canadians won't go on the ice, it's bad. So we had to pause it, but hopefully it'll pick back up next season.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
And then finally we have Austin Bristow. Austin, go for it.
Yeah, I'm another content manager here at PitcherList. I am a master's student living in North Carolina, the best place to live, rooting for the Atlanta Braves, the best team to root for. And I am matching Dave Cherman with my shirt, so that's great.
Nice.
But yeah, I basically do a lot of behind the scenes stuff here on PitcherList, whether it be organizing the off-season GIF bracket, I guess, GIF database, or whether it be playing Dungeons and Dragons with Dan and Nick.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Awesome. Yeah. And honestly, can't say enough about that GIF database. That is such a gargantuan thing. To get that done is awesome. And then finally, just
time.
Then just to wrap things up, I'm Daniel Port. I kind of wear a bunch of hats throughout PitcherList,
including that stylish one.
Yeah, right. This is the hide the quarantine hair. A long time since I've had a haircut. Yeah, I help mainly manage the Discord. So I'm kind of the person who helps with all of that. Both keeps the peace, creates great events, helps keep the community going. It's a real pleasure to be able to do that. And then I also help write for the Going Deep section with Scott and all of our great writers, and do some video work, and just basically wherever I'm needed, I kind of try to jump in. So that's our squad. So
which, by the way, I just want to say, since you mentioned the Discord, shout out the PL Plus community. I know you guys are here. I know you guys are watching. You guys are the best. And honestly, I'm just so stoked to share this, not just with you guys, with everyone, but you guys especially. So thank you all for being so supportive.
Absolutely,
100%. Thanks, Myles, for that shout out, because they really are why we do everything. So it's really great, and they just make it all. They just kind of make it all worth it, and make it all more fun. So what we're gonna do is we got a couple questions. We're gonna kind of do a bit of a roundtable discussion on. And then in the comments, because at the end we'll obviously have a question and answer if we have some time. That if you have any questions, or you have any comments, or anything you want, go and throw it in the comment section. I'll try and keep up with them as best I can. And I don't know if we'll get to all of them, or how much time we'll have left at the end. But just kind of keep them coming, and I'll try to keep track of them as best I can, and we'll see what we can get to. Other than that, let's get started. So I guess our first thing we wanted to talk about is sort of almost a big picture, where is both kind of the state of fantasy baseball, really kind of, we've seen some things on various formats and things saying kind of a big debate going on right now about what is the purpose of fantasy. Is it a competitive thing for, to be the best and to win and to win at all costs? Or is it more of a community thing? Is it something we do with our friends and our families to enjoy the sport that we love? Or is it, or is it kind of a mix of the two? Is it a little bit of the best of both worlds? Or where do we fall on that? And I kind of want to get everyone's take on that and see where we all kind of felt, kind of what is the purpose / state of fantasy baseball? Dave, you want to kick us off?
Sure. So it's kind of a hard question to answer, because I think, the state of fantasy baseball is whatever it is for you. For some people, they have their 8-person league with their best friends from elementary school, and that is the most important league in the world to them. And winning that means more than anything. And then you also have people who play only in NFBC leagues, and legitimacy only comes from winning something competitive like that, a 15-team plus. But really, I think to a certain extent, we have to legitimize everyone's experience for them and keep it all in context. Some people want to put all their money in, an online or DFS buckets, and some people really have no interest in that, but it doesn't delegitimize their experience. It's really, I think, up to each individual person to define what fantasy baseball means to them and where their heart is in it.
I love that. I think that's spot on. There's got to be a place for everybody, right? Mm-hmm. Colin, where do you kind of feel on that?
Well, this is coming from a person who has never sniffed anywhere near a championship in any league. So I'm in it for the community stuff. I literally spend like most of my time just chatting with another guy in a home league throughout the winter when everybody else in our league is kind of focusing on football and hockey. So for me, it's definitely like interacting with the Pitcher List community and also just like chatting with my buddy and just diving into prospects and everything like that.
Awesome. Let's go down to Myles. How do you feel about that?
See, I wonder, Colin, something you just said. I wonder if the people who think of fantasy baseball as something more of a community thing are just the people who aren't very good at it and just lose all the time. Me included. I'm not trying to, put myself on a pedestal. I also suck at this. I got relegated last year in the legacy, the staff league, because I was so bad. But you can't get rid of me because I'm back. So, I don't know what's going on there, but I'm back to defend my title as, worst in the league. But to me, fantasy baseball, it's about fun, right? I mean, if you're not having fun, why are you doing it? And whether for you fun is putting $1,500 down on a league so that you can, win 10 stacks and then, flaunt that in everyone's face, then great, dude, that's you. And that's your thing. And hopefully we can help you win your league and win that money. And if your thing is, hey, I want to do a league that keeps me interested in baseball. Nice.
Comment of the day so far.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yes,
well,
I do love worst ball because I know how the players perform because they're usually on all the rest of my other teams. So it works out perfectly. But to me, it's like I just want to have a good time, right? And whether that's because we're doing theft or guillotine, or even just like in my home league where like Dave mentioned, I'm in a league with a bunch of dudes that I've known since college and high school, and it's a good way for me to keep in touch with them. That to me is why I play, and it's just the fun of it, whether I win or lose, it doesn't matter.
Awesome. I know Scott, you kind of as the going deep manager and often going in a deeper analysis and things like that. You might have a different take on that, but where do you kind of fall on all that?
Yeah, for me, fantasy baseball, again, at the end of the day, this is all about fun. This is a game, right? Real baseball is a game, and fantasy baseball is a game about a game. Right. But that's actually what I love about it. Right? It gives me a new way to talk about something that I love. There's only so much right now that I can talk about these guys, right? Like only so many things going on at Comerica during those games. But fantasy baseball gives me the chance to have a relevant discussion about so many different things, making up stats that will never be on the back of a baseball card. Right. Like Colin has been helping me with doing these deep dives on 3-week periods, and how guys did over a certain 3-week period and how that ended up, what percentage of their total value was based on just those 3 weeks. Fantasy is what gives us the context to have those discussions. And that's what's so fun for me about it. You have worst ball. How often do you get to talk about guys who keep going out there and keep not doing so good, but still have fun about it without just being like a jerk and being like, this guy sucks. Worst ball gives us a chance to have a fun conversation about that. And that's what I love about this. And that's also why I kind of love the community, that we talk about this weird geeky stuff all the time and get excited about it. Right. I've been writing about the KBO twice a week. Right. Love it. Right. But it's not, I'm not a specific team fan, but it's baseball. I get to talk about baseball. I get to talk about fun stuff happening in baseball. And that's what I love about this whole community. That's what it's here for.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. And Austin, do you have any thoughts on that to kind of go around the table?
Yeah, first off, Slappy, I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina, right in the middle of North Carolina there. But
what's your address though?
Yeah, but so you're gonna send things to no. My thoughts are a little different. I'm a very, very competitive person, and so I love winning. And I consider myself to be a better fantasy baseball player than I am an analyst or writer. I've done pretty well in the past. I've made the playoffs in all of my leagues in the last 3 years straight. And I just really like beating my friends. whether it be Winning my 10-year-old home league and defeating my father in the finals, or playing Myles in the first year of the staff leagues and beating him in the playoffs.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. Thanks.
But at the same time, the community at large that we have, whether it be on Twitter or Reddit or anything else like that, it's so great to be able to razz each other about beating each other, or talk about this player is doing something interesting, and be able to have a discussion of what we ought to do with that, and be able to disagree with one another while not like outwardly offending one another, calling them an idiot. It's such a supportive community, and it's so great. But at the end of the day, it's all about winning your championship.
I wish I could be like that. Like, I invented fantasy curling, and I cannot tell you how bad I am at it. I got last, like very last, like 200 something people, very dead last. I invented it. I made it up. I make the rules. I got
That's
last.
amazing. Right? I didn't know that.
Maybe you should play worst ball fantasy curling.
I'm gonna keep making up games till I win, guys. That's just how it's gonna go.
That's a strategy.
Okay, this tournament is just for gingers in Detroit. There's only entries.
So the way I would do that is gingers who have a Korean ancestry. That really narrows it down.
There you go.
Yeah. Yep. For inventors of fantasy curling only, that's like 3 guys. And if we play enough, I'll win.
But Austin said a couple of things I want to comment on. So winning is the most fun thing for him. I definitely understand that. I'm the youngest of 3 boys, so I'm a very competitive person. But really, I don't think that's any different than Myles's point about that's what's most fun for you.
Yeah.
So it's about having the most fun. But I also heard Myles's point, like, some of us are not necessarily the best fantasy baseball players. Some of us are better analysts than we are players. Some of us are better players than we are analysts. Some of us just love sharing information and doing the analysis, even if we can't win championships. I don't think that necessarily has to go hand in hand. I think what unites all of us is just a love of baseball, a love of the community, sharing information, talking about baseball, and having fun playing.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really interesting to think about. Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, too, that I think what's great about the community is, the other thing you hear a lot is that whether or not there are too many people now talk about fantasy baseball, or too many things going on, that like too many sites, too many people claiming to be experts. And I actually go the opposite way. So what I love about that is, that there's a place for whatever kind of fantasy player or participant or analyst you want to be, right? So, if you are a competitive person, if you're in on the diehard, let's go win. We've got you'll hear from a lot of them this weekend, but go follow Vlad, go follow Matt Modica, go follow some of those guys who are like these that are like the cutthroat competitors who are just awesome at winning and really give great analysis as well, as you'll see during the weekend. But like those guys exist, and then there's some of the more fun, like, here's how you go win your home league, sort of analysts. I think often, I always laugh that I got into fantasy baseball and then writing here at Pitcherless because I was having some issues from concussions from rugby and football, and my doctor told me I'd need to do more math. And so this is the only thing I liked that involved math. My own projections and stuff. And just to keep the math juices flowing, and suddenly like it all kind of clicked in place. I really enjoyed that process, and that's kind of what got me into it. So, I think there's a place for everyone. I think it's on you as a fantasy fan to kind of see who speaks to you and see what works for you, right? There's plenty of place in the community for everybody.
You said almost exactly what I was going to say.
Hey, look at that.
Like I was basically just gonna say that there are some fantasy baseball players and fans that will determine whether or not an analyst is good depending on how that analyst's season goes, like how they do in Tout Wars or in TGFBI or something like that. And I don't think that's necessarily how it ought to be. Like Dave said, some of us are better players than analysts. I definitely think that like Mikey Agetto and other guys at PitcherList are way better analysts than me, but put me in a league with them and I feel like I'll hold my own just fine. And it's so interesting that there are people that think you have to win to be a good analyst. It's not really about that. It's about your process. If you have a really good like research process and analysis process, you're going to do well in what you put out and what you're writing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's all really great. I think it's a fun way to celebrate the diversity in the community in its own different way, in its own idiosyncrasies across the board. So the second thing, I guess, to kind of get into, like, let's start getting the hype going here. Real quick, like, what does this mean to you? We're here doing this incredible event over the weekend, and we're kicking things off. What is PitchCon? What is PitcherList? Being a part of all this mean for y'all? Like, where it kind of segues into what we were just talking about, but what does it all mean for you guys? We'll go the other way around. Austin, you want to start us off?
Sure. PitcherList and PitchCon for me, this really is a unification and a meeting point for the community we've been talking about. Like, the best part about PitcherList for me, I've been here for 3 years now, and the best part of it is the Discord. Being able to get on and not only just talk about baseball, but we've got off-topic channels about video games, about movies, music. I get to have everyone tell me how my movies and how I only listen to folk music is really not good for me. It's great. And so I just really love that, one, we can have that year-round 24/7 in the Discord, but also now we're bringing in the entire fantasy baseball community to come together this weekend in a time where everyone's kind of starving for baseball content. It's so great.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Scott, let's go with you next.
What I love about it is, like, with respect to the Discord, I got bad news for a lot of you folks. Like, a lot of your friends don't care about your fantasy league. They don't. I've been that friend before. But in, like, our Discord, in just the fantasy baseball community in general, there's a bunch of people who do care. Like, they actually want to help you. I actually sort of, like, get strangely pleased. Like, I get a DM. I'm like, oh, hey, look, it's some random person asking me for fantasy advice. Like, it's weirdly fun. It's like, yeah, this is great. And, like, that's what I love about being part of the fantasy community. It's what I love about being a writer and analyst. It's just like, I don't have like, my wife does not want to hear about this, right? She does not want to hear about, like, how much I like Tatis and how I looked at his rolling expected batting average and how it trended way up. She doesn't care, right? Like, she didn't care the moment I started talking, like, most of the time, but especially with this, right? So I love having that. There's a thing it's a thing that we can all talk about, that we all love, that we want to get, like, geeky and weird about, and it's right here for everyone. So, I mean, that's what writing is. That's what talking about it with friends is. That's what tweeting about it is. It's like, I don't have another person to talk about this with in my household. So instead of just shouting into the void, right, I've got the Discord, I've got fantasy baseball Twitter, I've got articles. Like, that's what I love about all this.
That's awesome.
So, Scott, you like it when people slide into your DMs?
I mean, someone's got to, right?
I'll keep that in mind.
Go for it. Where does this all mean to you?
Yeah, man. I mean, for me, like, so for a few years, I really wasn't, like, big into fantasy baseball. So, like, I was really big into it when I was a kid, right? Like, from when I was, like, 12 years old up until, like, I left high school. I played every day, was on all the time. But then when I got to college, I don't know. I just didn't keep up with it as much. And so I kind of have, like, a 2-3 year gap in my, baseball knowledge. But, I think it was around 2016 that I was like, all right, I'm going to get back into it. I'm going to commit. And, I had a bunch of different sites that I'd look at, and I kept coming back to one. And it was PitcherList. I just kept coming back because it wasn't just about the list, which is fantastic, but all the write-ups. I always say that the SP roundup is actually the real gem of the site, not the list itself. Because that's where all the really good information is. There's so much good content on there, and it kind of inspired me to write stuff on myself. Like I wrote stuff on our fantasy baseball, just like random, like I did a deep dive on Matt Carpenter because I wanted to believe that he was going to be good or that he was, in the slump and was going to bounce back or whatever. And then when he had a call for writers, I was like, I'm just going to throw my name in the hat. I don't have like a portfolio or some articles I can point to, but I wanted to be able to express my love for baseball. And I remember when talking to Nick, like it wasn't the interview wasn't how much have you written, what have you written for, what experience you have with deadlines. It's like, hey, you love baseball, let's talk. We're gonna have an hour conversation, we're gonna talk about baseball. You love baseball, cool. I can see you can write English, it's pretty good. Let's get you hooked up with Grammarly to maybe help you out, but you kind of have the basics. And since then it's just been being part of such an amazing community, right? Pitcher List is all positive. It's positive vibes. Like, you never see Nick tearing down anyone aside from like, here's the facts of what's happening on the field, but there's nothing ever like mean spirited. And I loved that. I love that it was just, let's all have a good time and love baseball and have fun together. And so this for me is like just an extension of that, right? We've been doing this for, Nick's been doing this for 6 years. I've been here for 3 years. And it just like this to me is like the culmination, not the culmination, but just another step in that of the next 40 hours of people just having a great time enjoying baseball. And I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Amen. Colin, kind of anything to kind of add in there, throw in there?
Well, Scott said it best in our chat here where we will respond with aggressive back patting. And that's kind of what we do. But for me, I guess say my favorite part about this whole PitchCon thing is definitely going to be just all the experts coming in for their presentations. Because what I usually find I take out of presentations is sort of the back end details where I want to find out how people did something. So then after I watch a few presentations, I write them down, write some ideas, and I can come on the computer and I can try and like figure out how they actually did that. And I can, have another tool in the tool belt sort of thing. And, yesterday I was just playing around with some data, and apparently there is a universe in a shortened season where Danny Santana can outperform Mike Trout in on-base percentage. But I don't know. We will see. It was like 2 in 10,000, so not likely.
I don't want to live in that world.
I aggressively do want to live in that world. That's
well,
awesome.
we certainly might. So yeah, I'm definitely just excited just to see what everybody has to say, and then see if I can use some of that information to get it in some R scripts here and help you guys out in the long run.
That's awesome. And it's worth giving a shout out to you, Colin, and like Dave Fango, and everyone who works on the data team. That it's such an interesting thing to have that, where it's just like I can come up with a crazy crackpot idea of like I want to search into this and I have no idea how to do it, and you guys are just like, all right, we'll make that happen. I'm like, cool, you're wizards. It's great. You're a wizard now, Colin. Dave. I know we've talked about this a lot since we both are in Denver and hang out from time to time. But what does this all mean to you?
Sure. So first, I'd like to respond to Yancey. My girlfriend back there is 100% running a competing stream to this one, and we need to organize the internet to shut her down. I'd also just like to echo what you said about the data science team. Colin, Dave, and everyone who works on that team is really so pivotal in the steps that Pitcher List has taken over the last year or two. Dan Wist on the back end, helping make the site that you all see and help it function so beautifully. Just, we cannot give enough credit to you guys. As far as what PitchCon means to me. So I went to First Pitch Arizona this past fall, and that was the first time I really saw just a gathering of people who are all passionate about this. And it was people as young as like 17, 18, all the way to people in their 70s. And it really showed just how large this community is. And what I loved about it is it made everything so accessible, because it wasn't just a bunch of players. You also had like Paul Sporer, Justin Mason, Derek Van Riper, Eno Saris, all those people who want to give to this community, who want to share everything, and made it all so accessible. And I love seeing all of that happen in a quarantine setting online. We have all of those names being involved in PitchCon. It just shows how supportive this community is of each other and how much everyone just wants to help each other. I guarantee like 99.9% of everyone involved in the fantasy baseball community just wants to talk about baseball, just wants to help each other, just wants to help this community grow. And it just makes me so happy to see that we're doing it and that everyone jumped to get involved. And I think that's also a testament to Nick and how he runs the site and the goodwill he has built over the years doing what he does. Like, I'm not surprised that everyone wants to jump to help Nick do something like this, because that's how I feel. Every time Nick has an idea, this was his idea, we were all like, yes, how can we help you make it happen? So yeah, it's really a testament to everyone in the community, but especially Nick. I would jump through hoops for that guy to help him achieve any dream he has for Pitcher List.
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead, Austin.
I just want to say too, also Alex Fast, because Nick obviously. Okay. Well, he did give us First Pitch Arizona cha. So I just think he should get some, it's a little bit of credit.
No, it's funny is that like we always make the jokes about Papa Pollack and then
Mama Fast.
But like that like Fast is such a huge part of everything that goes on here. It's such a testament that like he kind of he's the guy who makes the trains run on time so often with things. And it's just really impressive. So definitely a shout out there. And to kind of and for winning just winning fantasy writing awards and baseball writing awards, whatever.
Oh
just,
yeah,
like that.
Everything.
So I kind of feel much the same thing to reiterate a lot of that. I always think of to talk about how we got into it and all those things. Like I remember submitting my application to apply, and I think I wrote like 6,000 words on Travis Shaw in my application, and was all nervous, and immediately was like welcomed in. And it's such a crazy thing that think of that community and what this whole community means is a thing. Is that the night before I interviewed with Nick, I just emailed for the heck of it. I remember emailing through his Athletic email, because that's when he just started writing for the Athletic. Have you ever read anything I've written, Teddy? 6,000 words is nothing. Just keep rambling. I emailed Eno Saris and just said, hey, I've never done this before. You don't know who I am. We've never spoken, but do you have any advice? I'm going in for this interview. It means a ton to me. What advice do you have? And he actually he responded, got back to me, and that was a huge thing for me. Was getting that, and it felt so welcomed into the community, and almost immediately. And then to come in on day one of Pitcher List, people like, so what do you want to write about? Let's they're really like in that way. It's like whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to do, and whatever you want to explore, let's go for it. Next, I'm writing about the weather and physics and Bayesian theory and baseball and like weird stuff like that. So who the heck knows? And that's what I love about Pitcher List. Other than the wonderful community welcomeness, is just like they let you be who you are and kind of mold your own path through baseball. And the baseball community just embraces you for it. I just love it so much.
So we have Eno Saris to blame for you being a part of this, community. It's all his fault.
Damn it, Eno. Yeah, Nick has always made sure
his presentation.
Absolutely.
Nick has always made sure that Pitcher List has been this sandbox of whatever we want to do. If it's about baseball and it's reasonable, he will absolutely give us the green light. Like in my interview with Nick 3 years ago, one of the first things I ever said to the man was that I don't think Michael Fulmer is good. And that was at the height of Nick loving on Michael Fulmer. We're still friends somehow. I'm not sure, but
Austin, I don't know that we have reached the peak of Nick loving Michael Fulmer. There's exponential potential there.
Yeah.
Well,
There's a comeback.
This will be a continuing theme. Let's hope.
And see, we're already getting in the comments. All right.
Oh boy. Let's go, Spore.
So to kind of before we jump into the questions and answers and kind of maybe even a little more free form or anything we want to talk about, what presentations? We got so many. I think it's almost 9 or 10 a day for
so much.
4 days. Yeah, 40 hours, I believe is what 40 hours of talks. Is there any presentation you're looking the most forward to, or anything you really want to make sure everyone that this is the one you should turn out for, or anything like that? If you want to mention a particular one about change ups or anything like that, I know some guys doing that one, but
no, I don't think I remember seeing anything about a change up on the schedule. Nothing doesn't ring any bells.
Specifically, I know I'm going to be busy Friday at 3 p.m.
Absolutely not.
I had to find something to do during that time.
So good.
You're gonna be presenting for
some
Pro
slow-mo pitching technique from Port during his presentation.
Right,
You better see some of that.
Yeah, soon you'll get to see what it looks like when a short, stocky rugby player learns how to pitch.
Nice.
Dave, what presentation are you looking forward to?
Sure. So, it's really hard to pick because there's so many great presenters, not just Pitcherless staff, but across the community. As I mentioned, I host on The Barrel, the hitting podcast from Pitcherless. But something I continue to struggle with analyzing is pitching. So I am very excited to see Nick and Eno being joined by Pitching Ninja. That is tomorrow. No, that is Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern. So I'm very excited to see that one because I think I'm going to learn a lot from that. The other one I'm very excited for is my off-season project coming into 2020 was to start understanding prospects and dynasty because I had only ever done redraft and nothing bigger than a 12-teamer. So I didn't really know anything beyond the major leagues. So I'm really excited to see tomorrow night at 9:00, Chris Blessing, Ray Butler, and Ralph Lipschitz talk about how to translate prospect video into analysis and start to do my own analysis on prospects. I think that's going to be a really interesting panel that I think a lot of the fantasy baseball community can learn a lot from them on that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Fantastic. Those all sound incredible. God, just all of them, every panel, I'm just like, I go down the list. I'm like, but that one, or no, that one, or, it's just awesome. Colin, anyone you're looking forward to the most?
Yeah, this offseason, I also joined a really deep dynasty league. So my winter project has also been to try and get into some dynasty rankings and prospects. And before I'd probably maybe known some of the names in the top 50. And now all of a sudden this league, you got to know people 250 to 300. So I am definitely looking forward to the Everything Dynasty Baseball panel. And that is Sunday at noon with some of the best dynasty experts in the business. Because I have been trying to soak up as much dynasty content as I could throughout the last few months. And there's so much just how do you rank those young prospects coming up to a major leaguer that's been playing for 5 or 6 years. So that's part of my off-season process. And I'm also really looking forward to the Auto New presentation because we joined the Auto Noobs League. And I need all the help I can get on that as well. It's really weird playing in an auction league. I'd never done it with baseball before, but it's a lot of fun.
Nice. I thought I was the only member of the Pitcherless Auto New League that was going to be watching that one.
Well, the cat's out of the bag. I think 4 of us on this are in that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Myles, pitching it over to you. What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, well, I mean, it wouldn't be me if I didn't say I'm looking forward to the Baseball is Fun panel tonight. I mean, come on, right? I mean, we got Clay Link from RotoWire, Jake Seeley from All In Sports, our own Ben Palmer, and as well as CBS's Chris Towers. And, I mentioned this on Twitter, but, when I was getting back into fantasy baseball, it was the CBS Sports Fantasy Baseball Today that was really a big that. And so it's really cool for me to see my name there right next to his. And I'm looking forward to what they're going to talk about because, when it comes to baseball, it's fun. Like, how can you limit that to even just 1 hour of content? I mean, there's so many different aspects of the game that are so fun and stuff off the field, on the field, tangentially related. I mean, Trevor Williams' Twitter could be like an hour presentation all by itself.
Yeah. It's one of the greatest things that there is in baseball.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And Brandon McCarthy's Twitter as well, even though he's retired. But I mean, there's just so many, like, baseball is just a fun sport, and there's just way too much room for shenanigans, with all the, downtime during a game even. So it's just a good time. And then I'm also really looking forward to the ATC projections presentation by Ariel Cohen. That's one I use a lot of projections, and I use ATC a lot because I do find that it at least lines up a lot with my own, forecasting of what I think the players are going to do. And I'd love to see more of like under the hood, what exactly goes into it, because that stuff I find really fascinating. Because I'm not, that great at math. I'm not a huge math guy, but I'd love to learn a little bit more about it. So definitely looking forward to that.
Very cool. Scott, how about you?
Yeah, so tomorrow at 5 p.m., there's going to be a common mistakes in Statcast hitter analysis that I am super looking forward to with Derek Van Riper. And, I'm a big hitters guy. I love Statcast. And Statcast is one of those things where when you first get in, you think you understand. And it's, the more you learn about it, the more you kind of realize you might not have understood right away. And, it reminds me of the basics of like when I first got into fantasy baseball. I was like, oh, BABIP. I know BABIP now. I know everything about fantasy baseball. I'm never going to lose again. And, getting introduced to Statcast was sort of that thing. I was like, oh, I look at all these numbers. I'm never going to lose again. And, from there, the more I've dove in, I was like, I have a lot I need to learn. So I'm really interested in that. And then, Eric just pointed out in the chat, and I wanted to mention it real quick too. One of my favorite prospects ever since, Shelly V introduced me to him. Tariq Skubal is, among other guys, going to be talking with our own Trevor Huth and Andy Patton today at 6:00. And I am so pumped just to hear from like my guy, Tariq Skubal, Scoobs. I'm so excited for that. Like, just that's amazing that we put all this together. So those are really two that I'm really looking forward to in the next 2 days.
And Austin, kind of keep us rolling here.
Sure. I've got 3 and they're all on Saturday. I'm going to have a busy Saturday for sure.
See you then.
Yeah. See you, buddy. First one, chronologically, Bat Flip Crazy's breaking out. Really interested to see what kind of things he's looking at as far as what trends I should be on the lookout for and things along those lines. Gotta shout out our boy Alex Fast. I'm really interested in seeing what he has to say about OO counts, his getting ahead. That's Saturday at 7. And directly following that, the one I'm actually most interested in for the weekend is the women in baseball. It's featuring our own Shelly Verstrade, Ellen Adair, and a few other great women that have found their place in baseball. And I'm really interested to see what they have to say, because it's just a perspective that we don't get to see as often as we probably should, and one that I can honestly say I'm not that familiar with. So I'm very interested to see what it is that they have to say and how that could change how I think about, analysts and things like that going forward.
100%. Ben Palmer loves to point out that like 95% of fantasy baseball analysts are like white males.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So that's definitely a very important panel.
Yeah.
Looks around at the room.
Exactly. I think about that, and Ellen, exactly. Like, there do need to be more ladies, more diversity in the fantasy baseball world, in the analyst world, and all those things. Because the more opinions, the more things coming through, the more voices we have, the better off everyone is, and on top of it, just the more welcoming and equal baseball gets to be, and that's all good. It's good for everybody, right? Like we all win when that happens. So I'm all about it.
Talking about bringing in more voices. People have been doing 2 at a time. Austin, I know we could do 3. So another one that I had on my list, but I was like, picking and choosing. I think becoming a baseball writer with the people that are on that: Craig Edwards, Steve Gardner, Bobby Sylvester, Mike Gianella. It's going to be really cool because there's a lot of people out there who have something to say about baseball, who have a great point of view, and they just don't know, how to get it out there to, put it out there for other people to hear and to see. And so I'm really looking forward to that, because I hope that, if we can even get one more person inspired to start writing about fantasy baseball, or just writing about baseball, right? That's it. I'd love to see that.
I think Austin in particular could learn some things about how to be a baseball writer.
Honestly, yeah, you're not wrong, but also, how dare you?
That's why we manage. That's why we manage.
Which is awesome. That spot's dope. But
yeah,
I'm sure we all can't wait for Yancey to interview Alex and Nick as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say for sure, no doubt. 100%.
I think I'd be looking more forward to that one if it was Nick and Fast interviewing Yancey.
Honestly, I would like to see someone interview Yancey.
I know Nick and Alex is more than I've ever wanted to know them.
We're going to pivot to just like an hour of a webcam on Yancey. Like that's actually all.
He's just going to sit there eating crackers.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think that would be fun. I think, like, if there's anyone that everyone on baseball Twitter knows, it's Yancey. Like, I remember when I first joined Twitter, like 5 years ago, he was one of the first people I interacted with.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can play six degrees of Yancey Eaton basically with anyone.
You really can.
You can play 1 degree of Yancey Eaton.
Like several years ago, my biggest claim to fame was I was in a league that Yancey was in from I think the Dear Mr. Fantasy podcast league.
Oh,
and I was in it, and Yancey was in it. I was like, that was it. That was all I ever needed. This is famous as I need to be.
So what place did you finish in?
We're moving on.
I also want to do just a really quick shout out to my my Dynasty League, the UDL that Scott's a part of. There's a lot of them that are hitting up our group chat in there. They're listening. So thanks for that, guys. Appreciate the support.
Oh, shout out my mom. She's watching. So shout out my mom. You're great.
Shout
mom.
out Miles' mom.
I very specifically going to be on YouTube later. I do not need her in the comments. So as we're going through, kind of just to wrap things up, as I was going to give a shout out to a few things I'm interested in real quick. Obviously, I'm looking forward to Alex Chamberlain talking today on ERA estimators. It's just like one of those holes in my my knowledge base that I haven't quite been able to wrap my brain around. So I'm really excited for that one today. Tomorrow, I'm really looking forward to Sarah Lang's talk on my toolbox for every research question.
Yes.
It's one of those things that I think was like the biggest thing of year one of writing about baseball. Was just like half of it was just the first thing about figuring out a process and my approach and all of those things. So I think that's going to be really valuable information. I'm really intrigued to see what that does, because research is kind of my thing. I love it. So I'm really intrigued to see what goes on there. I think from like day 3, you mentioned the breaking out one. Looking forward to some guy named Dave Cherman talking, some guy named Myles Nelson, a couple guys in here, Scott Chu, looking forward to all of your guys' panels. It's so cool that we're all participating in this as well, but it's also really cool to see, like, I don't know, the guys who taught me everything I know about baseball, Jason Collette, Eno Saris, Yancey, Paul Sporer, to see these guys who have taught me taught me my approach and taught me how baseball works is kind of really cool. To see Al Melchior talking on day 4, that's incredible. Like, it's just a really neat thing to see. So it's still kind of surreal and hasn't quite settled in yet. We've got about a couple minutes left before we pass off to Nick for his first talk of the day. Does anyone in the comments or have any questions? Anyone have any last things we want to throw in before we head out? Get this party started.
Mom just texted me, and she wants you to know, Daniel, that you need to fix the frames on your wall. Sorry,
I know.
That has been
looking
pointed
at
out.
it,
I
I can see it, and I want to like turn around and fix it, but I'll wait till you know.
What KBO teams are you supporting? So when we wrote the intro to KBO article, I did the breakdown on the KT Wiz, and I love that they've got like a 20-year-old phenom who they just moved to first base, and he's just hitting absolute bombs. So I love that, plus the whole nobody beats the Wiz.
Yeah, nice.
They're so fun.
I know I did the Kaiwoom Heroes for that write-up, and I mostly picked them because their little robot mascot is like the cutest thing in the world. Like it's the Korean baseball like equivalent of like Baby Yoda. Like I would die for that thing. And so that's why I kind of got in on the Kaiwoom Heroes. Also, I really like just some of the players on the team and stuff like that. But that's who I'm pulling for. Anyone else rooting for anyone specific?
Real quick,
Anthony,
go.rallyup.com/pitcherlist or pitcherlist.com/pitchcon. You can find the donation link.
Yeah, Nick will kind of walk through in the in between. He's going to kind of help walk through a lot of that as well. So
there we go.
Yep.
Also, shout out the Lovely Giants because they got Dan Straley. That's all you ever need.
That's all you need.
Continue, guys.
Yeah, no, it's been great. And it's been cool to see. Like, I love, Nick's like real big for this comment, but it's always he loves to see someone succeed, right? And it's really something he's infected me with is that like you never want to root for someone not to succeed. I know Dan Straley's kind of struggled a lot over here, and to go see him go to the KBO and flourish is really fun and really exciting, and it's just like it makes you happy, right? So I think that's about it. Thanks everyone for coming out and joining us with this roundtable. It's been a pleasure. We're really excited to kick this off. We're really excited to bring this to you. Come check out as much as you can. The rest is going to go up on YouTube later on afterwards. So if you miss anything, don't sweat it. But please, thanks so much.
Right? That's PitchCon. We're done. We did it.
Yeah, that's it.
Great job, everybody.
39 more hours.